Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla and the new show Overflow, episode 27. Tesla's demand problem seems to have magically disappeared again, and Wall Street is starting to talk about Tesla's other products than their automotive sales. Even talk about Tesla's full self-driving and Optimus robots, as analysts prepares for a factory tour at Tesla. And GM is out lobbying to overturn the EV mandate of banning ICE cars by 2035. But the economics of BEVs in the future will boost the economy and make EVs inevitable. And the founder and CEO of LiDAR company Luminar has been fired effective immediately. And Xiaomi is launching its YU7, the Model Y competitor. And SpaceX is gunning to replace GPS. And Elon explains that Kroc is now reasoning from first principles. All of this and much more in today's episode. Let's dive right in.
Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove.
Tesla's demand problem seems to have magically disappeared in just 1 week in China, but even Wall Street is starting to talk more about Tesla's other products than just their automotive sales. You probably remember everyone screaming about demand problem again last week when we saw Tesla's drop in sales in China. And I said it was probably because of the changeover at the production line to a new version, as Tesla has basically only delivered the launch edition so far, and they need to update the production line for the normal version of the Tesla Model Y. And this was probably just one of the things. And this week we see, surprise, the Tesla sales are back up again in China with 11,130 units sold last week. And I have a suspicion that this will continue. But the Tesla story is really starting to become so much more than just about car sales, as Cantor Fitzgerald reaffirming its $425 price target on Tesla shares in a new note. With shares currently trading at $350, we remain bullish ahead of several material near-term potential catalysts. On affordable models, we expect an initial price of $30,000 inclusive of tax credit, timely given the likely negative impact to vehicles' price due to tariff implementation and the likely removal of tax credit. Other catalyst includes Optimus and Semi, high volume production of Optimus Bot, 2026 estimates, initially deliveries of Optimus to customers, we expect 2027 estimate, and introduction of the Tesla semi-truck. We expect start of production in 2026, and for Tesla to enter the self-driving trucking industry were all cited as long-term growth drivers. So cool to hear analysts starting to actually think about Optimus and self-driving technology. But we are only days away from the launch of full self-driving unsupervised in Austin. And we are closing in on that second half of 2025, meaning that most analysts now start to focus on 2026 numbers as well, as they look 12 to 18 months out in the future. And the next 12 to 18 months for Tesla is really going to be very exciting to see if Tesla can deliver on all the many exciting things they are cooking. And it sounds like the full self-driving package will get a little price hike as they roll out unsupervised full self-driving in Austin, as Tesla is emailing Cybertruck reservation holders, informing them that they must take deliveries by June the 15th to keep the original $7,000 full self-driving price they locked in at the time of the order. After June the 15th, 2025, full self-driving supervised will be available at the latest price, which is currently $8,000. Yes, I think the demand for Tesla's car is going to skyrocket, in my opinion, when you can get these cars with software that will be able to drive you anywhere in the US. So the demand for Tesla's cars in the US will probably follow the rollout of Tesla's unsupervised full self-driving. So we could see a big demand in Austin and Texas from June, and then other places as they roll out to more states. And all the noise about Tesla that we have been talking about because of Elon's politics will be completely blown away. as we can already now see that demonstrations and protest against Elon and Tesla has already started to fade away. Just like I said, this would be short-term noise, and it would be more noise than actually people not wanting to buy Tesla's cars. Just look at Q1 2025 in the US. There are still more people wanting to buy a Tesla EV than any other EV on the top 10 list here, even combined. So the brand damage, as I said, was completely overblown and mostly noise, as there has always been people that don't want to buy Teslas because of Elon Musk. Now it's just because of his politics rather than something else that Elon has said or done. So I think we have a very nice second half of 2025 to look forward to, both in terms of demand, Tesla's forward-looking potential, full self-driving, robots, and business growth. Everything is coming together. Tesla has shared some new tidbits of information during a session with some other Wall Street analysts that is all about full self-driving and Optimus robot. As Morgan Stanley talked about in their new Tesla note, Optimus, Tesla want to offer investors a tour of low-scale manufacturing by Q4 2025. So that's going to be very cool and will make believers out of many of the Wall Street analysts that gets to go on this tour. Tesla is still on track to launch its robotaxi service in Austin. Initially fleet 10 to 20 cars will be invite only at first, but I believe Tesla will quickly scale up from there and opening up to the public when they can see it all works. Tesla can currently make 12 Optimus robots at a time at their pilot production line. Production capacity is currently 1,000 units per month. Second gen line is targeting to 10,000 units a month. Third generation line 10 times the second generation line. So wow, that is 100,000 units a month they are aiming for with their third generation production line. Very exciting. And Tesla wants to build thousands of Optimus robots by the end of this year. And Tesla also said that their neural net for Optimus are far larger than the one for their cars. And that Tesla's Dojo 2 comes out in 2026 will be more efficient than Dojo 1 and cheaper than a comparable NVIDIA solution. Not expected to be one-for-one as competitive to NVIDIA, but Dojo 3 is expected to come out in 2028. The company thinks it can narrow the performance gap for application-specific integrated circuits. Tesla believes that 10xing their compute and acquiring much cheaper chips could result in a major unlock. Wow, so that all sounds very interesting and very cool that this comes from Wall Street analysts that by the end of this year will also get a factory tour of Tesla's Optimus production line. Then there should not be many doubters left anymore. And just like we had full self-driving calculated into the Tesla valuation for many years before we actually get to this point here in June, I think Tesla's valuation also could get some Optimus robot valuation calculated in before they hit the streets and third-party operators, as we also by then will have thousands of Tesla's robotaxis on the street as well, showing all the doubters that they were wrong, that Tesla was only late with robotaxis, but they did come through. So why should they not do the same with humanoid robots if Wall Street is even invited in to see the production line with their own eyes? We are truly heading into a very exciting time for Tesla over the next 12 months. But it is not just Morgan Stanley. JP Morgan is also silently accumulating Tesla shares, while in the meantime keeping on posting negative opinion on Tesla. Its analyst Ryan has a $120 price target on Tesla and consistently negative on Tesla's outlook. Tell me they're not manipulating the market to push down Tesla's stock price so they can accumulate more. Yes, having a $120 price target while buying at $350 does seem a little weird. GM is lobbying to overturn the EV mandate, but this is some short-term thinking, as the economics of the shift to EVs will make it happen very fast over the next 10 years. Insider Monkey articles reporting on General Motors lobbying to overturn California's electric vehicle mandate, which aimed to ban gas-powered vehicle sales by 2035 as EV sales lag behind expectations. GM even scrapped its original goal of producing 400,000 EVs by mid-2024 due to slowing US demand. Well, Tesla sold over 600,000 BEVs in the US in 2024, so Tesla is able to sell much more than GM. So I guess there is a demand for EVs, just not GM's apparently. And GM was the ones that said they would be 100% electric by 2035 and electrify the whole industry because Mary led and it mattered. Well, apparently not. So should we see this as a betrayal of an earlier commitment to electrification, especially given GM's history of abandoning EVs like the EV1 in 1999? Because every time Tesla misses a target, it is front page news and Elon's never delivers. Well, he's late on something, yes, but we could say the same about GM. And it would be actually more correct. But while California is pushing for zero-emission goals, GM continues to prioritize short-term profits for their gas vehicles, a move that critics argue delays the inevitable global shift to EVs. Studies like those for the International Energy Agency project EVs will dominate by 2035 despite current market hiccups. Yes, exactly. When we get to the next step of truly affordable EVs, and Tesla will take their first step toward that in the next few months, the demand for ICE cars will drop even further because we do get more and more examples from companies and private owners showing off how much money they save on having an electric vehicle compared to the ICE vehicle. Like I have shown many times before, police departments saving thousands of dollars every month. The more people that learn that EV's true cost of ownership is already below ICE cars of today, when we get to truly affordable EVs, that will get EVs in the hands of a lot more people that will learn and share that EVs are extremely affordable cars to own, with basically no maintenance. And this could even boost the economy of a country or a state. Let's just for fun say that you save about $4,000 a year by having an EV instead of an ICE car, like we have seen many police departments say that they save more than that in a year, and I have personally saved $4,000 a year by having an EV. Well, if we take the 15 million new vehicles that are bought every year in the US, well, that would be a saving of about $60 billion. $60 billion boost to the US economy. Not to talk about getting rid of all the almost 300 million vehicles that are in the fleet today in the US. Because we are talking about fuel savings and maintenance, which is also high on the old existing fleet. So 300 million vehicles that will save $4,000 a year when they become BEVs instead of ICE cars. When we get to that point in 20 or 30 years, we are talking about a savings of about $1.2 trillion for the US economy every year going forward compared to the old fossil fuel economy. So the economy of BEVs will make this transition happen very fast as we now enter the affordable EV as we have been talking about for years on this channel. When that happened, who will in their rightful mind, other than the true EV haters, buy the more expensive ICE cars, as they also lose their economy of scale in production, so they will also go up in price, and that is an inferior product in every single way, in my opinion. Getting back in an ICE car after driving an EV for 6 years just feels like so old school and outdated. And you have to pay more to keep that inferior product running as well, and it can't just be ready to go in the morning with a full tank like an EV does. It would truly be financial suicide to buy an ICE car at that point. So the US might be behind right now in EV adoption, but remember, Elon also said that Tesla will double their production in the US over the next 2 years. And with unsupervised full self-driving about to start rolling out in Austin, who is then going to want to buy GM's old polluting ICE cars when they can get an affordable Tesla for maybe $30,000 that can drive itself and save them about $4,000 a year in fuel and maintenance? Yeah, I still don't think people get how fast this is going to happen. So if the legacy automakers don't want to be a part of it, I think both Tesla and the Chinese would love to take their market share in the US. We are talking about 10 years out in the future. So the Chinese could easily have built a lot of factories inside the US at that point. So GM better get moving, and don't think they will be selling a lot of ICE cars in 2030, because I don't think that will be the case. As we can already see today, Tesla's vehicles are already more affordable in its segment. Like you can get a Tesla Model 3 Performance for 1/3 of the most spec'd out version of the BMW M3 that the Performance Model 3 can keep up with around a racetrack. Or as Nick pointed out, $45,000 Tesla Model 3 Performance versus a $73,000 Dodge Charger Dayton EV Scat Pack. The funny part is, Dodge put out an ad not too long ago basically calling out Tesla. We are building electric vehicles to save our planet, to save it from those lame, soulless, weak-looking, self-driving sleep pods. This car just got destroyed by this much cheaper and better Tesla Model 3 Performance. Oh, the irony. Yes, ICE cars are already dead. People just don't know it yet. And let's squeeze in the last short news topics into this news show. Yes, it's time for the Tesla shorts. Nick posted this video highlighting a unique issue with the Volvo EX90's LiDAR sensor, which can damage phone cameras if filmed too closely due to the high energy lasers it emits, a phenomenon confirmed by this viral video in the post showing permanent damage to the smartphone's camera lens. And Volvo acknowledged this as a risk in the EX90's user manual. This issue is not isolated to the Volvos. Similar concerns have been raised about other vehicles equipped with LiDAR technology, such as those from Zeekr, Lotus, BYD, NIO, and Xiaomi, though the existing damage varies depending on the camera's design and the sensor's intensity. But yeah, let's get some more LiDARs. And speaking of LiDAR, we had a Waymo operator speaking to the police after being involved in a crash. I guess it just need more LiDAR. And Tesla made a little ad about how much cheaper an EV is in ownership. And you probably remember that Luma was involved in Mark Roberts' controversial test video of Tesla's full self-driving back in March, driving through an artificial wall. Well, now the founder and CEO of LiDAR company Lumina was replaced last week, effected immediately following a code of business conduct and ethic inquiry from the Luma board of directors. Ouch. And even though the Xiaomi SU7 is a very good electric car and has overtaken the Tesla Model 3 in China sales, there is still something the Model 3 does better: safety, like automatic emergency braking. And Elon had an interview with Microsoft's CEO where he talked a little bit about how Grok is learning to reasoning from first principles.
Sure. So, yeah, with Grok, especially with Grok 3.5 that is about to be released, it's trying to reason from first principles, so apply kind of the tools of physics to thinking. If you're trying to get to fundamental truths, you boil things down to the axiomatic elements that are most likely to be correct, and then you reason up from there, and then you can test your conclusions against those axiomatic elements. In physics, if you violate conservation of energy or momentum, then you're either going to get a Nobel Prize or you're certainly wrong, basically. That's really the focus of Grok 3.5, fundamentals of physics and applying physics tools across all lines of reasoning, and to aspire to truth with minimal error. There's always going to be some mistakes that are made, but we aim to get to truth with acknowledged error, but minimized error over time. And I think that's actually extremely important for AI safety. So I've thought for a long time about AI safety, and my ultimate conclusion is the old maxim that honesty is the best policy. It really is for safety. But I do want to emphasize, we have and will make mistakes, but we aspire to correct them very quickly. And we are very much looking forward to feedback from the developer community to say, like, what do you need? Where are we wrong? How can we make it better? And to have something that the developer community is very excited to use and where they can feel that their feedback is being heard, Grok is improving and serving their need.
And speaking of XAI, they just received 168 Tesla megapacks to power Colossals 2, their second AI data center. That's massive energy storage, enough to run an entire neighborhood, now fueling AGI. Tesla plus XAI equals the future of power-hungry intelligence. Yes, indeed. It seems like the Colossal 2 will be the first gigawatt AI training cluster in the world. Elon's company just keep pushing the boundaries. And Stieg wrote, "Thanks Tesla Energy, another year of being self-sufficient with my own power for home and cars, and now a $593 sweet virtual power plant payment. Tesla rocks." And Tesla reposted and wrote, "We paid out $9.9 million to Powerwall owners who supported the grid through virtual power plant participation in 2024. Nice. And Tesla Radi wrote, "Xiaomi is launching their YU7 EV. Reuters is calling it a Tesla challenging vehicle. Media used to use a different term. Do you remember what it was?" Yes, we have come a long way since every new EV coming from the legacy automaker was called a Tesla killer. But none of them was able to kill Tesla, and none of them have even been able to match the Model Y. No one killed Tesla, but Xiaomi launching the Model Y competitor is definitely one to keep an eye on, as the SU7 has overtaken the Model 3 in China. So let's see how much they can ramp up the YU7 and if the demand will be as big as for the Tesla Model Y. And AJ shared this chart and wrote, "Japan's Prime Minister warns Japan's financial situation is worse than Greece." Ouch. Sharing this chart of debt to GDP, and Japan is one with the most debt to GDP. And as you can see, even though there's a lot of talk about the US debt getting out of hand, Japan is much worse off. Like I made a whole video about a couple of years ago, how if Japan's auto industry went bankrupt, it could have a huge effect on Japan's economy, as they were not looking strong. Unfortunately, that has not changed, and the Japanese automakers do not look any stronger today than they did 2 years ago, and neither does the economy. An AI driver wrote on X, wondered why full self-driving was taking the corner so wide when suddenly. And Tesla reposted and wrote, "Full self-driving supervised sees more and further than you." And Starlink eyes GPS 2.0. SpaceX want to run the map. SpaceX just fired its shots. It's gunning to replace GPS. In a pitch to the FCC, SpaceX revealed its satellite swarm is ready to deliver global PNT, positioning, navigation, timing, faster, safer, and independent of the Pentagon. Here's what in orbit. GPS-free power. Starlink low-orbit fleet runs solo. No military signal needed. Global lock-on. Resilient, secure tracking anywhere on Earth. Direct-to-phone ready. Built to power service like T-Mobile's SpaceTech's plan. The old GPS playbook? Starlink just set it on fire. And they keep expanding their network, as Starlink just shared on X. Starlink high-speed, low-latency internet is now available in Bangladesh. And Will from the Tesla Jigsaw made a great video about the Model Y as he used it as a little camper, and also shared how cool the reflecting taillight makes their little campsite. If you want to learn more, check out Will's video, link down below. And Omar reminded us all, Neuralink is bringing life back for people who are paralyzed. Tesla is making driving easier for people with disabilities and is on track on giving freedom to the blind. Neuralink is working on restoring the sight to the blind. What an a-hole that Elon Musk is. Oh yes indeed. That's all we have time for in this Overflow News Show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help this video out a lot so others can find it. So please, 1 second, it's all free. Hit the like button. And if you did like it, maybe you want to consider hitting that subscribe button, notification bell, so you don't miss out on future videos just like this one.
And if you're already a subscriber to the channel, thank you so much for the support. But if you want to support the channel even more, remember you can, for as little as $1, become a patron of this channel, or become a member of the YouTube channel to get a shout out as some extra perks like early access, ad-free versions of my videos, exclusive videos. So hit the members button or check out Patreon to find out more. And don't forget to follow me on X. I post pretty much all the news as it comes out and a lot more. And check out the merch store to get some merchandise and support the show. It is also possible to support the show without becoming a member or a patron. There is a donation option down below or on my website bestintesla.com. You can also become an executive producer and get news articles, exclusive videos, behind the scenes, and access to all my research charts and spreadsheets also on bestintesla.com, or as simple as hitting the super like button.
And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.